Etowah County Media Day, and up now is the West End Patriots and Coach Kyle Davis, beginning, I believe, his 7th year. Coach, if you would introduce the two players you brought this morning, and then just make some comments about the 2020 West End Patriots for us.
All right. First off, thank y'all for having us. This is a good thing for us. We're out on that end of the county. Sometimes don't get as much exposure, and our kids enjoy being here at things like this. Thanks for having us. To my right, this is Hunter Tucker. Hunter is a senior this year. Hunter was All-County for the last couple of years. He's played every down since he was a freshman. He's a team captain for us. Plays offensive line, linebacker. Just a solid guy. You can always count on him being there. And he's shown really good leadership over his time at West End. And to my left is Eli Pearce. He's our quarterback. Eli was an all-state selection last year, first year playing quarterback. Eli does a great job too. He's started every game and played every down since he was a freshman as well. Not always quarterback. He's a slot receiver for us at times. And team captain as well, great leader. Both these guys are humble kids. They work hard. They're not big talkers. We had some really good conversation on the way here. I think they said 3 words the whole way. But they do a lot through their actions. They really do. They lead our team, and not only as a coach, but I think our team as a whole is lucky to have these guys. Our 2020 outlook is we're coming in on a high note. Last year, we were hired our defense coordinator, which was John Mark Mintz, real late in the year. I think like the week before it started. John Mark does a fantastic job, but obviously on short notice we were a little bit behind defensively. We played well. I think the first half of the year we scored a lot of points, but unfortunately we gave up a lot of points. But as our year kept rolling, our kids started learning our system a little bit better. We had a little bit more belief in what we were doing, and we were actually able to win 4 of our last 6, finished on a 3-game win streak, which was, I think, real good for our kids. It was an opportunity, I think, for them to see, what we were doing and how it was going to work for us. That really led into a great offseason for us. We, before COVID hit, were the strongest team that we've ever had. We had kids that were doing in the weight room things I had not seen them do before. And it just, again, I think it boiled down to we have great senior leadership. We have 8 seniors. And of those seniors, there's probably over 200 starts in all of them. They've been having to play since they were freshmen and sophomore, all of them. It's the first time I think that we'll have a team that is overly experienced. We're not going to be having 3, 4, 5 sophomores and freshmen starting like we have the last 2 or 3 years. So it's a situation. We still have some young kids, but we have a lot. Even our sophomores have 10 games under their belt. A lot of them played. So, but just a lot of leadership in the weight room. And like I said, unfortunately, it hit us when it did. But hey, it hit everybody when it did. I've told everybody I think it's probably the most level playing field we're ever going to have, considering we've all had to kind of experience the same thing. But we came back when the summer workout started, and we're back. I think, like I said, this is by far, to me, I mean, our 2016 team's a very good team. They had some really good players. But I think overall, this is our strongest and probably top to bottom most talented team that we've had. I've been real pleased with, like I said, the leadership from our seniors. And so we're looking to build on our 3 wins last year that we finished with. We hope that momentum carries over in the first part. Our region is a very competitive region, top to bottom. It's not, you play in some that are real top heavy. I don't see us having a top heavy region. I think there's 5, 6, 7 teams maybe that can go in there and compete for playoff spots. So, we're just going to have to go in there and follow these guys' leadership. You hear it, I mean, cliche, but really take it game by game. That's really what we're going to have to do. And every week it's going to present a new challenge, obviously, with football and other things probably. And we're just going to have to, take it in stride. And the biggest thing that I've told our guys this year is that, we have an opportunity to be as good as we want to be. It's a situation where we're going to, as coaches, present them with what we can, teach them the best we can, and however they want to, take it and approach it, we can be as good as we want. And that's a situation that, like I said, it's up to these guys right here. They're going to have to lead them out there on that field. But we're excited, man. I tell you, the excitement I think that's surrounding our team this year is very, very high. Our kids, we probably averaged 85% showing up for summer workouts, and you say, well, that's fit, but for us and for the kids that have to work all the time and things like that, and on the farms and that kind of stuff, for us to have that high, and like I said, these guys that show up and encourage them to be there, that's big for us. So the excitement's high, the anticipation's high, and I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be 18 years old and go all summer and are we going to play, or we're not going to play, we're going to play, and then finally get that word. I really feel like there was a big weight lifted off our kids, and they were really able to kind of let loose, and you really see it in our attitudes right now. So we're excited, and we're looking forward to this year.
Questions, guys?
Coach, we're talking about in the spring or in the early summer about maybe some teams in years past, they were talented, they were physically tough, but they weren't as mentally tough as you thought. Does that go along? Is that kind of a part of what makes this team special, like we were just talking about? For our guys, and it's always been, and as long as I've been there, I do feel that we've, as a program, grown. But it's always kind of been that thing where, if we feel like we're going to beat you, we're going to beat you. But if we don't, we may not. But I really, especially towards the end of the year last year, I saw our mentality grow. We got behind against Woodland by 2 scores, and we're able to come back and win that game. And so I think with the maturity level with these seniors, like I said, they've been around the program. I told them yesterday, I said, I bet we could all go back and find 10 moments in the season last year that completely would have flipped our year had we been more physically tough and mentally tough about what was going on. And I think they grew that, and like I said, the experience they've had, the maturity that they've shown, our mental toughness has grown, substantially, in my opinion, yes.
From the players, talking about that a little bit, maybe last year you snuck up on some people. You're not sneaking up on anybody this year, so talk about the different mentality of not being the other dog, but being the guy with the target on your back.
Well, I think our team definitely thinks we have a chance to win every game. We're going to compete every game and nothing less, really. I don't think this year we think we're the underdog at all. We were, expectations are sky high, and there's nothing really that can slow us down except for ourselves.
And that in the past has really been our situation. You look at our Cleveland game last year, we jumped out 14-0. It would have been probably a season-altering situation. But, then they score, and I think that old mentality kind of creeped into us, like, well, here we go again, and we go back and forth, and then they get a couple scores, and we kind of, they distance themselves from us. And I just think this year, from seeing what I've seen from my guys, I really feel like that our mentality, like I said, coming from last year into this year, it's one of those deals, hey, if we get behind, we get behind. Hey, if we're up, we're up. It doesn't really matter. We're going to play this down. We're going to play the next down. We're going to play the next down. And I think we feel like up 2, down 2. We're going to be in the game, give ourselves a chance to win the game in the end.
Coach, I know you talked about 8 seniors being experienced. Does all 8 of those seniors start, or what about both sides of the ball, offense, defense? How many starters returning for you?
Yeah, at the Blunt County University, I said we got 16 starters coming back. That's 8 kids, So, but yeah, we're going to have to replace our outside receivers. We lost Jeremiah Robinson. He was a 2-time All-State player. Jerry was a good football player. We lost him. We lost a couple other seniors that, Mason Barnett and Lee Armstrong, some guys that we're going to have to replace. The biggest thing for us and it goes along with coaching as well, because we had to replace an offensive line coach. But our offensive line is the most experienced bunch we have. They probably combined, coming back, have probably over 100 starts in all of them. And for a new coach to have to, not learn, he has to learn the system, not the kids learn the system. It really has helped us and has improved with us. But like I said, outside receiver is what we're having to replace, and we've got kids to replace them. Obviously, like I said, a 2-time All-State guy's tough to replace, but we've got kids that can come in and are going to be able to,
you know, service us in that position, and the secondary. Those are the two spots that we really lost some guys at. We were also, I know it sounds crazy, but we were fortunate to have some injuries last year, and at the time it was devastating for us, and we hated to lose our guys, but we were able to play some kids that probably wouldn't have gotten on the field, and we really saw some growth from those guys, and they're going to step in and be starters this year for us. So, like I said, you never want to see a kid hurt, but with that happening, we're able to get that kid back this year, but also we played some guys that were able to really get some good experience on the front. So I'm really excited about our offensive, and you know, switching over defensive line, because most of them play the same spots. But it's a real experienced bunch, and you know, I mean, Eli can throw for 1,000,000 yards, but if he's laying on his back, he's not going to be able to do anything. And so that bunch has really done a real good job. The offensive line has done a good job, I think, of growing and maturing. And they're, you know, I tell them every day, you know, we're going to win or lose based on y'all, and so we're hoping that they'll come through for us.
Question for
Yeah, Coach, one more. Just I love this, and I've asked you this before. Talk about your mantra, positive gossip, and what that means to your kids.
Yeah, you know, it goes back to 2 years ago. You know, we were in a funk. We won one game, and I don't know, it's the only game I think in the history of the world that we did not lead a single second of the entire game and won on an untimed down. So I don't know if that's ever happened before, but you know, our team was just in a funk. I was in a funk, and you know, it starts with leadership, obviously, and I would find myself in a situation where, you know, I wasn't leading great as a coach, and so as a team, we just kind of got together, and I spoke about this before, but John Gordon is a writer that we use a lot of his literature. We actually are going to start, we were supposed to start our book study back in March, but it didn't happen. It's going to start next week with a new book that we have. But, you know, he talks a lot about the power of positive team and power of positive leadership, the two books that he has. And positive gossip is just something where what I try to do and what I try to get my kids to do, because we finally realize, you know, we can complain about it all we want, but it's not going to fix anything. But, you know, the more that we encourage and the more that we find the good and the more that, and I'm a little bit different. I mean, I've told people this. I think if you talk to a kid that I coached in 05 and you talk to a kid that I coached in 10, you talk to a kid I taught in 15 and didn't tell who I was, they wouldn't know you're talking about the same guy, you know. So I used to be a little more negative, and I'm still struggle being negative. But, you know, we found, I think, and our teams found that, by being, you know, finding that positive message, whatever it may be, you know, even if it's in a negative situation, we found that I've found, and I've seen now these guys, that we're able to give a little bit more. You know, we're able to find a little bit more. You know, like I said, up 100, down 100. Let's find something to improve on. And like I said, I found myself a couple years ago just really being a negative on the sideline, and that really transferred over into my kids. And so I started wanting to be more like that, and you know, and that's something we